We're getting close to the end of our chat. So I've just got two questions.
Yeah.
First one will be, you've learnt or you had your D&T experience in Cyprus. So at least you're familiar with, you know, the challenges learning the subject in your home country, and you have garnered, you know, further experience this time as a teacher. What are the differences in terms of how D&T is taught in the UK compared to what you know of D&T and teaching in Cyprus?
To be honest, in both countries, the difference between the state school and the more independent side is major. So even looking into the UK, you can see a great difference between something that they would be doing in a state school where maybe they don't even have the computer facilities to do stuff. Maybe they have laptops that they share between different subjects. That's a big difference that you can even see between UK and Cyprus. And I had the privilege to be in a private. So in Cyprus, private is like the independent sector. So I had the privilege to be in independent school. So we had computers in class. We were doing our GCSEs and A-levels all on the computer on PowerPoint. We had the CAT software. I think, what did we use? Oh, I learned not SolidWorks, SketchUp. SketchUp is the one that I was using back then.
Is it SketchUp?
I think so. I think it's still that.
I think it's
I think so. It was quite pixelated, but it was so exciting for me back then. But seeing my younger sister who went into state and her telling me how her friends who study design and technology are taught is very different from what I was doing. You know, you don't have all of those software that you can be learning from. It's more traditional, practical. Great thing is that it has changed even between the 5-6 year difference that I have between me and my sister. There is a big difference between how students are taught in both of the sectors in both of the countries, but it's quite different. So Cyprus is further behind, I want to say, at least in the state side. So here, although the state schools lack funding, there's a lot of great, you know, Facebook groups where teachers share, schools donate facilities, you know, laptops are being donated, computers are being donated, especially now with COVID, they had to improve and get more of the digital side improved in the schools. However, you do see that difference of, you know, in an independent school, you go to the workshop, you find a material, or you ask for a material if it's not there, and it's available to you very soon. Instead, you kind of have to work through what you can. And that's the same in Cyprus as well. However, there, the material is not helping the students a lot. You do notice again that issue with there's not much of the practical side of teaching. So there's a lot of theoretical electronics or mechanics with the gears. It's very difficult to try and get a student engaged into understanding something like that without actually seeing it. What I do with my year 10s is for every project that we're learning a topic, we have a project that's been made and designed for them to get hands-on experience on that. We were using pop rivets earlier on in the year so that they can understand the permanent and semi-permanent fixings. I had no idea what pop rivets were. I'd never seen a machine when I was learning it. I saw videos, and YouTube wasn't even that great back then, you know, back then, 2015, but still, it wasn't so broad as it is now. Or I didn't know that I could search them up. That was another thing. Now you just tell them, oh, search it. You don't know, search it. Back then, you didn't have that. Even the teacher wouldn't tell you search it because it was a bit of, You never know what you can find on the internet. Would it be helpful or would it be actually damaging your knowledge? So yeah, it was very different. And even within the few years of me going from high school student to high school teacher, I do see that difference of materials that are being available. But yeah, it's quite unfortunate that a lot of things in Cyprus, especially in the state, are quite behind, the traditional way of teaching, which is through the book, through pictures. Not great. But you see a lot of students, maybe not a lot, but quite a few, like me. I had another Cypriot course mate who had also gone through that shock of, my God, we learned this in a book. And we were sharing that. Cyprus is so back. This is so behind. You don't have that. Even in the university aspect as well, in universities in Cyprus, you don't have product design. If I wanted to stay in Cyprus, then one of the main reasons that I traveled to the UK was if I stayed in Cyprus, I would be doing graphic design or architecture or engineering. I wanted none of these. I wanted to do product design.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable because
It's a smaller country as well.
Yeah, and to set up a truly product design, industrial design institution, it does require a lot of capital injection to get all the toys that you need. So right now, in this day and age, additive manufacturing is up and coming. So to be competitive with other universities around the world, you need to have all these kits available or accessible by the students to be able to compete and to attract, the pound sign. So I mean, students are seen, as pound signs anyway. So, all right. So yeah. So cheers for sharing. My last question will be, what advice would you give to anyone who wants to, number one, study product design, and two, anyone that's interested in going into teaching? What would your advice be to anyone, any young adult or any young person who's thinking about going to teaching or thinking about going to product design? What would be your advice to them in terms of what are the things that they need to study to get them to that level, and what are the interpersonal skills that they need to have to consider teaching?
First thing that I also really wanted to advise some of my high school classmates was design and technology isn't that easy. There's still that misunderstanding, unfortunately, that DT is an easy subject. When I was in high school, I had a side job. I was tutoring online, and I had a lot of parents ask for help because they were like, we thought this was an easy subject. It's not. And there's still that misunderstanding. I was having a conversation the other day where a parent was telling me, what's happening? Why is this subject so difficult? So first thing, yeah, it's challenging, but it gives you so many things. It's things that you make up your life, but you never realize it. I'm sitting on a bed that's been made from different fixings and different boards. It's made from manufactured board. I know why, I know how. And for me, that's extremely exciting. Do you want to learn how everything around you is made? Why everything around you is made in a certain way? Go for it. Are you excited about it? Definitely. You need to have a lot of pure love for the subject and the things that it offers you, to see that basically everything is made up with it, chairs, tables, TV, the electronic stuff. Having this subject as an A level or as a subject that you've done can open so many doors. It's such a versatile subject. It can help you everywhere. Even if you're going into the sciences, bio, you do see it all the time. I have friends who are now studying biology and they're doing coding. Design and technology helps you in that. There you go. Architecture, which is more related to the subject of art, you find it everywhere. And if you don't find it in your uni years, you will find it later on. Maybe you want to do something fun DIY at home later on. There you go. You may have learned something from design and technology. And for anyone who wants to move into teaching generally, or did you want teaching generally or teaching design and technology?
Generally, and the needed skill set,
Yeah.
particularly for D&T.
Well, if you want to teach, understand that you need to be 100% selfless. You're helping others. You become a beacon of hope and knowledge for a kid or for someone who hasn't had that great experience with the subject. There's a lot of students who do not have great teachers or have to move schools. They've lost love about the subject because someone didn't make it interesting for them earlier on. It's a compulsory subject until year 9. Make it something exciting for them. They don't want to do it later on. Make it something memorable, even for the ones who are dropping it in a month or 2. Make it something exciting. You are going to be there to inspire them for this subject. Give them your all. Show them your excitement for it. That's what I do. Every lesson, they're like, Miss, where do you find the motivation for it? I love it. What don't you understand? I want you to love it too. Why don't you? That's it. And as I said earlier, there's a parent back home hoping and thinking that there's someone who's got the experience, got the knowledge to give them their child all the knowledge that they need for the subject, even for a short period of time or for further on. There's, unfortunately, in this subject, there's not a lot of teachers who've gone through that industry or who are fully great into sharing the knowledge of things. It's increasing, it's improving, which is great. However, there's a lot of room for change. Why are numbers of students still dropping? That was the title of my dissertation in my placement year. Why are students not choosing design and technology for GCSE and for A levels? And there's so many reasons for it. Be part of the group who tries to help solve this problem. Love the subject, any subject that you're teaching, and know it full on, and 100% be updated for everything that's happening in industry, especially for design and technology. You can't be teaching design and technology with something that you learn at in the beginning of your career and you just keep teaching that. No, it changes every single day. I keep showing students, one of my course mates made great developments with his product from FYDP, and I've actually shown that in class, and I've told them, look at that. You could be that person. Why not immediately after your university year, your graduate year? It's a possibility. So yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've come to the end of our chat. Thank you for dedicating some time to have a chat with me. Really appreciate it. At least it's nice to see you, on the path to becoming not just a good teacher, but a great teacher. So I do. I'm quite happy that your Buford students are quite lucky to have you. Someone that's quite passionate about the subject and giving them that level of knowledge, and hopefully some of your students will pass through Loughborough. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah. So all right, folks. So we've come to the end of our interview. I'd like to use this opportunity to thank Ms. Manana for dedicating her time today, even though she needs to start getting ready to prep for her return back to the classroom next week. Thank you for your time, and hopefully we get to do this again.
I'd love that. Thank you for having me.
All right, no worries. All right, folks. So till next time.